Everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about where I think realistically Cardano could go. And make sure to watch to the end because we're going to be going over two altcoins that I've recently entered. I just want to keep you guys in the loop of what I'm entering. That way you can do your due diligence, do your research, and see if it's a project that you would like to enter as well. Okay, let's get into it. So obviously the crypto market is being the crypto market. Now, a good thing to keep in mind is legacy markets are currently down. So it makes sense that Bitcoin is under 60K today. I don't think it's going to last. I think eventually Bitcoin's going to have to shoot up. We still haven't seen that huge rise that we typically would see in an alt season, but I feel like it's coming really soon. And we see Ethereum still pushing up at around the 1800 mark. I think the big identifier of an alt season is most likely going to be Ethereum. We'll most likely see Ethereum hit somewhere in the $2,000 mark, and that's when I think we'll see a lot of other projects still pop off. Now, keep in mind, as bearish as I am on Ethereum, I think it is going to do well this bull season, and especially with the updates coming to the Ethereum network with Uni 3.0, I think it's going to incredibly reduce the fees, or at least hopefully. So let's keep that in mind. Now, in terms of Cardano, we're looking at the day chart here. So we've seen a huge rise with Cardano over the last couple of weeks to months. And obviously, it's been a pretty turbulent ride around this area. But finally, we've gained some ground and we've hit around the $1.20 mark. So it's important to note that Cardano did hit well over the $1.40 mark. And of course, I don't think it's done at this level. I think we're going to sit here for a little bit before we blast off. But realistically, and this is what this video is all about, where could Cardano go? And that's the big question. That's a lot of what people are saying, and everyone's throwing out weird numbers of $10 ADA, $25 ADA, $30 ADA. And I think a lot of the reason why people are throwing out these big numbers is because they don't understand exactly what market cap will do. And a lot of big YouTubers are giving some grandiose numbers, and I understand where some of those predictions are coming from, but I'm going to give you a realistic number of where I think Cardano could go for this bull run. Now, to look at Cardano's price, I wanted to quickly go into market caps a little bit and talk about Bitcoin and where Bitcoin could go. So Bitcoin, hypothetically at this point, I would say realistically, we'll probably see around $150,000 Bitcoin this bull season. You can call me a bull, you can call me a bear, you can call me whatever you want. But at the end of the day, I think 150K is actually very realistic and actually a little bit bearish. But that is realistic, and that's my price target here, judging by how the last bull market went. Now, of course, it could be more because of institutional money, so we have to factor that in. And as well, Cardano, we see a lot of institutional money flowing into Cardano as well, so the same rule applies. I could be off, and it's most likely going to be north of the numbers that I'm quoting. So if we triple Bitcoin's market cap, that brings it around to $3.1, $3.2 trillion. And again, that brings it to $150,000 Bitcoin. So let's assume that the entire market is going to triple from this point. Where does that bring ADA? So I did the calculations, and if we're tripling this market cap, it's going to bring us roughly to a $3.80 ADA, which is a low estimate in my opinion for this bull market. So alts traditionally have definitely gone a longer time in terms of a parabolic rise than Bitcoin has. We've seen that before where Bitcoin will finally go on its crash, but altcoins will continue and even go way more parabolic than they were before. And that's very common. And we could probably expect this, that even after Bitcoin is starting to tank, we'll probably see altcoins still pump the week or 2 weeks after that. So realistically, what I would predict ADA could be, I think ADA can hit around a $5 ADA realistically. Now, of course, that doesn't mean $10 is out of the cards, but I'm trying to keep it as realistic as possible, and that's the whole point. I don't want anyone to wait out for that number, because if you're waiting out for the $10 before you sell, that's a very bad strategy, because what if that $10 never comes? Now, I'm not talking from a bearish standpoint. I'm going to be keeping most of my ADA. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to try to yield farm with my ADA, so a lot of my ADA is not going to get sold. I think I've come to terms that I will be comfortable with selling around 60% of my ADA. Now, the price target that I'll start selling ADA at is probably roughly around the $3.80 mark that I quoted before. I will cash out in little amounts, maybe weekly, bi-weekly, depending on how fast the market's moving. And obviously, as the price goes up, I'm going to increase how much I've sold until I've hit the target of amount of ADA that I want to sell. And then after that, I'm just going to ride the market. Now, I'm not giving you guys financial advice, and by all means, don't follow this if you have a different plan in place. You should definitely follow the plans that you have previously made. But that being said, don't pigeonhole yourself on a magical number to sell 100% of your holdings at, because that's a quick way to get wrecked. It's a good idea to dollar cost average into a market, and it's an excellent idea to dollar cost average out. That way you get both the rise and the fall, and that's the whole point. My big thing here is just to make sure that everyone's making enough money within cryptocurrency and ADA to be able to reinvest during the bear market. And if you're here at this point and you just got in, now you still have a lot of gains to go. I'm not quite sure how much, maybe a 2 to 5x, but realistically, you're not made rich in a bull market, you're made rich in a bear market. So if you are new to crypto, the best advice that I could give you is learn as much as you can through this bull market, maybe take some risks, lose a little bit of money. That way you position yourself better in the subsequent bear market. Because once you're able to dollar cost average during the bear market, you'll be able to reap the gains of the next bull market. Now keep in mind, bull markets are not going to be as exaggerated in the future. They're going to lessen over time as the market cap matures, and that's to be expected. But it is important to recognize that most likely this bull run will be the biggest that we've ever experienced. And I would argue that the next bull run could be a lot bigger because we'd have a lot more utility in the next 4 years once that bull market happens. So even if you do miss out on this bull market, you will have another shot in the next bull cycle. So just be ready for that and prepare. So again, realistically, I'm expecting a $5 ADA. Now, the great thing about my strategy is I'm selling 1% of my holdings every week, bi-weekly, whatever it needs to be, and I will increase it as it goes up. So if it passes my $5 prediction, I'm still going to have ADA to sell left over. I'm not calculating what I'm selling based on emotion of the current price. I'm calculating it on a plan that I have to make sure that I get the best ROI for my investment. Ultimately, you got to do what's best for you, but I would stay away from picking a price target and saying, I'm going to sell 90% of my holdings at this price. You wouldn't just dump $50,000 into crypto. Well, some people do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is dollar cost average in, and it's the exact same way coming out. So sorry if I'm beating a dead horse with this, but I just wanted to hit this home. I wanted to quickly go over, and thank you very much if you watched this long. Go ahead and like the video if you've found value, but I wanted to go into a couple of altcoins that I'm looking at. Now, the first one, obviously both of these coins have pumped a little bit, and I understand that, but I think there's still a good amount of ROI to get into them at this point. So the first one is Harmony One, currently sitting at around 10 cents at around a $914 million market cap with roughly 9.3 billion circulating supply. Now with Harmony One, it's an Ethereum application and it works to help the scaling. Now the big thing is that they have sharding and staking on the mainnet, which is something that ETH 2.0 is trying to deliver. You can go ahead and demo the DEX and the swap function. But if you look down here at the protocol features, this is where the important things happen. So the one big thing is the fact that you can settle these transactions with finality in roughly around 2 seconds. Now that's a big deal when you're looking at trading and trying to catch something before something's pumped. It's really important that things settle as quickly as possible. There's roughly around 1,000 validators, which is less than Ethereum, but more than Cosmos and Polkadot. And the transaction fees are very, very minimal. About a fraction of a cent is what it works out to. Now the mainnet launched June of 2019, and it has roughly 4 shards, where Ethereum 2.0 is going to be delivering 64 sharding systems. So I do think with a platform like this, I think that there's a lot of room for it to grow. So I don't think anyone's necessarily late to the Harmony One party. I definitely think that there is absolutely more to go, but you have seen a pretty large pump. So with any pumped project that we see, I would give you the exact same advice: is don't YOLO a giant amount of money in, just dollar cost average in, build a position, and it should work out for you. But again, I don't take risks, and some of you are a little bit more risk adverse. So by all means, if you're looking for that cash cow, go dump money into whatever you think is best for you. Cryptocurrency, the next altcoin that I'm looking into is BEPRO network. Now this is trading at around 2.5 cents, which is actually low compared to where it was hit over 4 cents over the weekend. Now I do think that there's a lot of potential with this altcoin, and I'll explain why. So the big thing that I missed out on, and I should have bought, and I had it on my radar, is Engine. It's something that I wish I had built a position in a lot longer ago, but now BEPRO has kind of been brought to my attention. I've taken a look at it a little bit more. Now I think this is a relatively good hedge if you are investing in crypto gaming. Now they're toting around that they're building the DeFi of gaming in 3.0. currently there's 50 plus projects being worked on the system, but the big thing here is what I find is the trusted companies that they work with, and some are projects that you need to be aware of. So one big one is Chainlink. We all know Chainlink. Then we have Polka Markets, we have Elrond, which is another big one, and then we have Moonbeam. And I would say that Moonbeam is definitely on my eyes in terms of things that I want to catch as soon as it's released. And I think it's available on some exchanges, but I'm not quite sure. But I would absolutely be entering a Moonbeam position because it's almost like the Ethereum for the Polkadot system. But we do see that there's a lot of trusted machines on the BEPRO network, and I think this is just going to grow in size as the system gets bigger, and we're in it at a relatively low cap. Now again, with any low cap coins, and this is rank 466 and the cap is 47 million, as the cap gets lower, the risk goes higher. So of course we could get a higher return, but the risk is going to be higher. Now that being said, at this point in the bull market, I would say probably take a little bit of risk. Not financial advice, of course, but if you are looking at just throwing a little bit of money in to see what happens, I would recommend BEPRO. It's one of the projects that I'm looking into, and I personally am really big into crypto gaming, and I think that's going to be the next frontier of gaming in terms of integrating cryptocurrency. So I definitely think that something like this project will be very beneficial going forward. So that's it from me, everybody. Those are the two projects that I'm currently invested in. I just got back from the gym feeling pumped, so I wanted to get this video out. Go ahead and like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you enjoyed the videos that I'm making. I would like to also say, if you guys have any sort of criticism on how to make these videos better, I do intend to be here throughout the bear market and for a while in crypto. You guys are stuck with me. So if there's anything that you guys see that I could improve on as a content creator, please let me know. I'm really working to improve these videos and improve the quality for you guys. Also, I'm going to be deploying a stream schedule. I know, I'm so sorry that I haven't booked that yet, but I promise by next week we'll have a flush out stream schedule of at least 2 streams a week, where we can go and discuss everything live. That way you can have live interaction with me, we could talk about cryptocurrency and discuss any projects that you might be interested in. All right, that's it for me, everybody. Happy hodling.